All right now. Hey, what's up, good people? I'm QC. Welcome to another Talking Grubbin live stream. You know, I've been breaking down each division in the NFL and the AFC and the NFC. You know, I've done 6. I got 2 more to go. Tonight, I'm breaking down AFC West. I already see somebody in the chat. Fisted Waffle, what's up, man? How you doing? Thanks for joining me. And for those of you who come on tonight, if this is your first time, welcome. Don't make it your last. Subscribe to the channel. When you do, click on the bell icon. Make sure you do that so you don't miss any new videos or upcoming live streams from me. Got to share with everybody that I'm live right now. How's everybody's evening going? How was your day? I hope your day was well. My day was good. Can't wait to break down this AFC West with y'all tonight. Definitely anxious to read your comments in the chat or also in the playback after this live stream is over. I just cannot believe, man, that we are coming so close upon the new NFL season. Well, that's good, Fisted Waffle. I'm glad you're doing good, man. That's good to hear. That's real good to hear. Yeah, you missed my live stream, Fisted Waffle, with me breaking down the NFC South. You got to check out the replay. Yep, tomorrow night the Browns and the Redskins are going to play their first preseason game. Very excited to see how they're going to look. Even though I expect the first string not to play too much, they probably play a series, just at least one series, to get out the kinks and to hit on somebody else other than each other. I'm just excited. So, man, I'm just excited for football all around to be back this year. Want to see, players who had great years last year, improve on their second year like Pat Mahomes. Want to see if he can take that next step in his maturation process. Can the Chargers repeat the magic that they created last year? Does Phillip Rivers can Phillip Rivers prove that he still got it, or will Father Time finally catch up with him? Because it seemed like that man, had the fountain of youth at his house last year because he had one hell of a season. Oh, well, that's okay, Fisted Waffle. You definitely got to take care of your girl. Got to see about her to make sure she's all right. I understand. I got my woman too. So I definitely understand. And, whatever she's going through, I hope you're just there for her to, see her through this whatever tough time she's going through. And I just hope everything's all right with her. So I definitely understand. Also, tomorrow night, my last live stream for the division breakdown will be the NFC West. You know, that's another barn. That looks like it's gonna be another barn burner division. Well, whatever y'all going through, whatever y'all going through, Fisty Waffle, I just hope that everything works out for the best. Is gonna be all right. The trouble is only temporary. I always remember that trouble is only temporary. Sometimes I even gotta remind myself of that. That trouble don't last always. All right, now let's get into this. Let me get into this AFC West preview. Decided to go a little light tonight. I'm gonna grab on this Burger King crispy chicken. I haven't had this in a while. For some reason, I just had a taste for this tonight. It's good. Especially with the extra mayo. Right, let me put this sandwich down for a second. Get into this AFC West breakdown. Because, I don't want y'all to be saying, we ain't come to watch you eat. Talk with some damn sports. No. But let's get into this AFC West breakdown. I'm starting with the defending AFC West champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he's coming off of a hell of a first year starting. He had a season for the ages. He finished with over 5,000 passing yards, 50 touchdowns, and only 12 interceptions, while finishing with 113 QB rating. Man, no QBs put those type of numbers up in a long time. But man, he had one hell of a year. He was the NFL MVP, rightfully so, especially the year he had. Also, still got Tyreek Hill, one of the best wide receivers in the game. And so, in a roundabout way, he kind of gets slept on. Yeah, Fisty Wobble, he definitely did good. He had one hell of a year. Also, still got Travis Kelce, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Also, a Cleveland native. Got to put that out there. Kareem Hunt was on his way to a great year before the Kansas City Chiefs cut him due to the fact that a tape leak from TMZ where he got into an altercation with a female in downtown Cleveland earlier last year. But now he's resigned with the Browns, reunited with John Dorsey, and is looking to make a second chance to prove that he's a superstar in the NFL. Well, still a superstar in the NFL, excuse me. Sammy Watkins, he had a pretty decent year too. His year kind of got slept on. A lot of people don't talk about Sammy Watkins, but when you have, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt, you definitely gonna get lost in the shuffle. Excuse me. But they had a dominant regular season. They finished with the number one record in all the AFC. They dominated the Indianapolis Colts in the AFC divisional game, but they ultimately ended up falling to the New England Patriots in overtime in the AFC Championship game, which was right there for the Chiefs to take. They had a hell of a comeback in them late in that fourth quarter, but in OT, the defense let them down in the worst way. Andy Reid, in my opinion, cost the Chiefs that AFC Championship game because he should have taken some timeouts to let his defense rest, because they were gassed in that overtime, especially when the Patriots won that coin toss and decided to receive the ball. They were gassed. They were gassed from playing, 4 tough quarters. They exuded all that energy coming back to take the lead, to get turnovers, to get stops on Tom Brady in that offense. By the time OT came, they had nothing left. And Andy Reid should have known that, being the veteran coach that he is, he should have taken the timeout. But that meltdown ultimately cost defensive coordinator Bob Sutton his job. And now they replaced Bob Sutton with Steve Spagnuolo. Now, if y'all don't know who Steve Spagnuolo is, he was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants when they won their first Super Bowl back in 2008, when they knocked off the New England Patriots when they went 16-0. He also coached the Rams for 1 year, but that didn't work out. So now he's back, behind the defensive coordinator's hat. Well, wearing the defensive coordinator's hat, excuse me. But the Chiefs, they got a nice, really good offensive line. The all-pro Mitchell Schwartz, Cameron Irvin, as well as left tackle Eric Fisher, who kind of gets slept on, in my opinion. Like I said, also Austin Ryder, nice center. But the Chiefs definitely shored up their defense this offseason. They got rid of veteran players such as D Ford, and they traded Frank Clark, one of the best defensive ends in the NFL, from the Seattle Seahawks. They also traded for Emmanuel Ogbah from the Cleveland Browns, as well as they acquired Rashad Breeland, the cornerback in free agency, and the free safety Tyrann Mathieu in free agency as well this offseason from the Houston Texans. So, the Chiefs definitely went out and addressed their defensive issues to make sure they don't have another AFC Championship game type of meltdown this upcoming season. Excuse me. Because a lot of people don't know. Yes, their offense finished top 10 in every ranking that you could think of last year, but their defense was in the bottom 10 of almost every defensive ranking that you could think of last year. No matter if it was points allowed, passing yards, or just stopping the run, the Chiefs ranked in the bottom 10. So, this defense has definitely improved from last year, and I definitely expect them to rise up higher in the defensive rankings. I don't know if they'll be top 10 in everything, but they could definitely be top 10 in some things, or at least top 20 while being top 20 in other categories. Excuse me. The Chiefs, I definitely think they're going to be contenders again this year in the AFC, challenging New England again to, represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. They feel like that, that moment was stolen from them by Tom Brady and Rex Burkhead, Rob Gronkowski, who's now retired. They feel like they stole their moment last year on their home field at Arrowhead Stadium to get to the Super Bowl. They feel like that, that game was theirs for them to take, finally send, finally showed everybody that Tom Brady ain't Tom Brady no more, that he's an old man and his best years are behind him. But, Brady definitely shut that down in that overtime when he just gashed that Chiefs defense apart like it was nobody's business. He was like a surgeon in that overtime. But I definitely think the Chiefs have definitely improved defensively. Patrick Mahomes, I think he's going to have another MVP caliber year. I'm not saying he's going to win the MVP again, but he has a great chance of, having that type of year and repeating. But it's going to be tough. Also, I know they're relieved that Tyreek Hill isn't suspended for his off the field issue during the off season. But my question for the Chiefs is at running back. Now, they got Damian Williams, and they also acquired Carlos Hyde via free agency this off season. Who's going to step up and be that top running back now that Kareem Hunt is gone? So I'm interested to see who's going to be that number one back. Who's going to come, who's going to rise up and take that job? Or is Andy Reid going to play running back by committee? Because, despite Kareem Hunt having that issue, the Chiefs lost one of the best let go one of the best running backs in the NFL. So now it's going to be very tough to replace him. So I'm interested to see if Damian Williams or Carlos Hyde is going to rise up to take that number one spot. All right. Now, on to my next team is the LA Chargers. Now, the Chargers, they fought tooth and nail most of the season with the Chiefs for the AFC West. But it seems like they couldn't get over the hump because they would always, find a way to lose big games when they needed them, when needed to win those big games to stay close to the Chiefs and ultimately overtake the Chiefs for the AFC West. But they just couldn't win some of those big games. Like the Saturday night game against the Ravens on their home field. The Ravens went in there and just basically, beat them down from start to finish. That was a defensive, the defense really got to Phillip Rivers that night. Also, they made Lamar Jackson look like a Hall of Fame QB. That's some of my mouth, y'all. Excuse me. So they end up finishing as a wild card team, but they end up getting their payback on the Ravens in the AFC wild card game as they went on the road to defeat them. But they turned around the next week and got annihilated by the New England Patriots in the AFC divisional game. Let me get some more of this chicken sandwich. That's good. Wash it down with. Now, Phillip Rivers, it seemed like that man had the fountain of youth in his mansion last season because he definitely turned back the clock. I definitely thought his best years were behind him. Hey, I'm glad to say I was wrong because Phillip Rivers had a hell of a year. Matter of fact, I think, he had an MVP caliber type year too where, he could have, I know he should have got some consideration for MVP. If he didn't, then that's very messed up because that man balled out of like it was nothing in 2018. He finished with over 4,000 passing yards, 32 touchdowns, as well as only 12 interceptions while having a 105 QB rating. Wow, that's unheard of. Especially in this era in the NFL. That's unheard of that two QBs finish with, 100-something rating. That's so unheard of. Right, there we go. But like I said, man, Phillip Rivers, man, at what, 37? Man, that was amazing what he did, how he could just ball out like that. Now, as y'all all know, Melvin Gordon is holding out right now because he wants a new contract from the Chargers. But a lot of the NFL teams are not paying big money for running backs these days. You know, Ezekiel Elliott is going through the same situation with the Cowboys. But a lot of NFL teams do not pay large money for running backs. Because, you know, in their minds, they feel a running back's career is very limited. The average running back's career is no more than 4 years. But I hope that Gordon and the Chargers could come to some type of agreement, you know, before the season starts, because Melvin Gordon is a pretty good running back. As a matter of fact, he's a very underrated running back. I don't think he's gotten his just due. I definitely think he should be up there as one of the premier running backs in the NFL. Excuse me. Now, you know, also, the Chargers have a very underrated wide receiver in Keenan Allen. This man does not get enough shine like he should. This, you know, watching some of the Charger games last year, Allen was a beast. You know, he could definitely can burn you for long yards. Also, can catch the ball from almost anywhere on the field. It's just a shame that he does not get the shine that he deserves. I think he should get more shine than what he does. But also, Phillip Rivers is anchored by a pretty good offensive line, led by the veteran center Mike Pouncey. Maurice Pouncey plays for Steelers, my mistake. Right guard, Michael Shoefield, making sure I'm saying his name right, as well as left tackle Trent Scott, and as well as left tackle Trent Scott, left guard Dan Feeney. So Rivers has a pretty good offensive line around him. And also, man, the Chargers have a hell of a defense. That's anchored by the Ohio State Buckeye, Joey Bosa, as well as defensive end, Melvin Ingram. And they also got better as they got veteran linebacker Thomas Davis from the Carolina Panthers in free agency. Also, they got Casey Hayward on the team. They have a nice secondary with cornerback Michael Davis and safety Derwin James, who I think is definitely one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. I definitely expect him to have a big year. You know, him and Ingram. I definitely expect them to ball out this year on defense. You know, that was another main reason why they were successful last year. A lot of people, you know, give Phillip Rivers his props, but the defense also deserves a hell of a lot of credit for their success as well. And I also got to give their head coach Anthony Lynn a lot of credit. He was a first-year head coach who came in, you know, set up a system that he made his players buy in, and they got to the playoffs. So that goes to show you that, yes, you can be a rookie head coach and have success. Matter of fact, because a lot of people talk about, well, Freddie Kitchen, he's a rookie. You know, I'm going to go a little bit off script here. You know, people say, well, Freddie Kitchens, he's a rookie head coach. He can't have success. Let me tell y'all something. Last year, 3 rookie head coaches went to the playoffs. Anthony Lynn of the Chargers, Frank Reich of the Colts, and Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears. All 3 of them rookie head coaches got their teams to the playoffs. But, you know, I definitely want to see what Lynn does in his second season as a head coach. You know, I really like him. You know, I saw some of his press conference. He has a good laid back personality. So, you know, I'm anxious to see how he improves in his second year. Now, the Chargers, I definitely think they could be contenders in the AFC this season. And definitely And they're definitely going to be battling out with KC for the AFC West again. I expect that. So when Mahomes and Phillip Rivers go head-to-head in these games twice, man, I think they're going to be those games are going to be classic. They're going to be barn burners, brawl for it all. I would expect nothing less from these two. So I definitely can't wait to see these two battle it out during the regular season twice this year. But with that being said, if things go right, really go right for the Chargers, if Melvin Gordon can come back and they all can stay healthy, look out for the Chargers. They're going to definitely be a dark horse in the AFC, to come out of the AFC and get to the Super Bowl. Now, on to my next team is the Denver Broncos. Now, Denver, they fired their head coach this offseason and hired, make sure I'm getting his name right, Vic Fangio. I hope I said his name right. If I didn't, then I apologize. Also, the Broncos got rid of Case Keenum. They traded him to the Washington Redskins. And they traded for Joe Flacco from the Baltimore Ravens. Now, as y'all know, Flacco has been struggling for, quite a while in Baltimore. So maybe he might get a new start here in Denver. Also in free agency, they acquired tight end Noah Fant. Also got another tight end, Jeff Heuerman. And also they re-signed defensive end Zach Kerr. Now, Denver to me is limited offensively. Ooh, excuse me. They got the veteran Emmanuel Sanders, but he's pretty solid, but he's not that number one go-to receiver, late in games. But where Denver's strength is on defense, and it's anchored by two All-Pros and former Super Bowl MVP Von Miller and Derek Wolfe. Those guys are some ball hogs, and if you're any offensive coordinator, it's hell to prepare for them when you gotta face Denver. You gotta make sure that your offensive line QB are definitely aware of where those two are, because they can bring the heat with the pressure and get sacks and even strip the ball from the quarterback and force turnovers. Also, they have a nice secondary in cornerback Chris Harris, free safety Justin Simmons, and strong safety William Parks. And also, another linebacker I forgot, Bradley Chubb, who's also the cousin of Browns running back Nick Chubb. Bradley Chubb had a real nice rookie year. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted the Browns to take Bradley Chubb, but just wasn't in the cards. And a lot of Browns fans were PO'd at John Dorsey for not taking Bradley Chubb. Excuse me. But, Bradley Chubb, he's a hell of a player. And I definitely see him having a better second year. But like I said, my question for the Denver Broncos is, where are they going to get their offense from? Can Joe Flacco shine now that he's in a different environment, or is those same habits from the Ravens are going to follow him here to Denver? Also, they really don't have any wide receivers to go to. They really don't have tight ends. Their main offensive weapon is Philip Lindsay, the hometown product. Lindsay, he had a pretty nice, first year last year, but teams are going to basically stack the box. Well, put 8 in the box on, when Denver is on offense. And if I was a defensive coordinator, I would do the same thing. I would definitely stack 8 in the box, because I know that nobody on the Broncos offense right now scares me. And I know a lot of them cannot hurt me for big plays. So I would definitely stack 8 in the box and dare, Philip Lindsay to beat me. But Elway, it seems like ever since he's been the executive of the Broncos, he really hasn't focused on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, he's got some pretty great players on defense, but he hasn't focused on the offensive side of the ball enough. Even when he had Peyton Manning, he really didn't focus on the offensive side of the ball. So, in order for the Broncos to really become consistent contenders, Elway is definitely going to have to make some moves on the offensive side of the ball. Otherwise, it's going to be a lost season, or the Broncos are just going to be mediocre enough to finish 8-8. Now, last but not least, are the Oakland Raiders. Now, y'all know that that the Raiders hired John Gruden last offseason as he made his return to coaching after being on Monday Night Football on ESPN for a number of years, which surprised me because I thought he definitely enjoyed that cushy job on Monday Night Football, but he had the itch to coach again. For those of y'all joining me in the chat, like the video. Matter of fact, I want to hear your comments on the AFC West. Who do you think is going to, how do you think the AFC West is going to shape up for 2019? In a minute, I'm going to give my predictions for the AFC West. If I'm sounding a little stuffy, y'all, it's these allergies. I apologize. But, Derek Carr, a lot of people definitely a lot of Raider Nation wants to see him ran out of town. But they made some big moves this offseason. The main one was trading for Antonio Brown from the Pittsburgh Steelers. They also got traded for Tyrell Williams from the LA Chargers. Oh, FJ, what's up, man? You think it's gonna come down to the Chargers or Raiders? Why do you feel confident in the Raiders? I can understand the Chargers, FJ, but why do you feel confident in the Raiders? Also, they definitely tried to beef up their defense by acquiring defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins. Also, another defensive end, Josh Morrow. I hope I said his name right. But they made another big splash by acquiring, controversial linebacker Vontaze Burfict after he got cut by the Cincinnati Bengals. And they got veteran linebacker Brandon Marshall. Now, as y'all also know, that this is going to be the Raiders' final season in Oakland. They're moving to Las Vegas after this season, which is kind of a shock to me because I definitely thought once the Raiders moved back to Oakland, I thought they would stay there forever. But Mark Davis, the owner, could not, reach an agreement with the city of Oakland to, get his own stadium built because a lot of y'all may not know that they currently share their stadium with the Oakland A's. So he wanted his own stadium, but the city of Oakland said no. So Mark Davis decided to move the team. And now Las Vegas finally has their football team. I never thought I'd see that happen. Never thought I'd see the day would happen. So, I know Raider Nation is going to be packing every home game at the stadium this year, since it will be the Raider, their final season in the Bay Area. Okay, you feel confident about the Raiders because you say Drew will not have straight losing seasons. Well, hell, after he won the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, he had a few losing seasons. How you so sure that he's not going to have 2 straight losing seasons? Now, FJ, if you're an Oakland Raiders fan, I get it. You got to ride for your team. So So if you are, I ain't knocking that. If you're a Raiders fan, then okay. By any chance, are you a Raiders fan, FJ? Now, a lot of Raider Nation, wants Derek Carr the hell out of Oakland, despite the fact that in 2018 he finished with over 4,000 yards but he only finished with 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions while having a 93.9 QB rating. Yeah, Derek Carr has definitely taken a major fall, since a few years ago when he had that remarkable season, led the Raiders to the playoffs. Excuse me. He's definitely has fallen off since then. I don't know why. I do not know why. Maybe them after Jack Del Rio got fired, he wasn't the same. Maybe they should have kept Del Rio because that seemed like the only coach that got the best out of him. But Davis decided to go into another direction. But they do got some talent on offense, like getting Antonio Brown, also having Tyrell Williams, who's a nice, serviceable wide receiver. He was pretty serviceable for the Chargers last year. He definitely was. But and they do have a pretty solid front seven. I'm not gonna lie. Raiders have a solid front seven. But my question is that running back? Who's gonna step up and be that top dog at running back? Is it gonna be Josh Jacobs or Doug Martin? Now, Doug Martin, he's bounced from team to team within these last few years. He was in Tampa Bay for a while. Now he's in Oakland. So Doug Martin may be on his last leg. Also, I got questions about the offensive line. Who's going to step up? You got the center Rodney Hudson, left tackle Kellen Miller, right guard Gabe Jackson. Now they also acquired another veteran offensive lineman who I really don't care for this offseason, which is left guard Richie Incognito. The reason why I don't care for Richie Incognito, I'm just going to say it right now. I don't care how you take it, but Richie Incognito ain't nothing but a racist piece of shit, okay? Throughout this time, while he was in Miami, him and other players on the Dolphins constantly bullied, harassed Jonathan Martin, said all kind of racial slurs, But then once Jonathan Martin put out on social media that he was coming to get his payback on Richie Incognito cowered like a little punk and went to the feds and snitched on Martin. So I ain't got no love or respect for Richie Incognito. And also during the playoff game a couple of years ago with the Buffalo Bills, he said something racist to one of the Jacksonville Jaguars players. So I don't got no love or respect for Richie Incognito because I'm going to say it once again. He's a racist piece of shit. Now, y'all can take it however you want it. Intelligent Psycho, what's up, man? How you doing? Okay, you got the Chiefs with the division. Okay, FJ, you a Panthers fan. So, all right, FJ, how do you think your Panthers are going to do? Yeah, Intelligent Psycho, I definitely think Doug Martin's washed up. Like I just said, he's basically, with him being on the Raiders, he's on his last leg. He's on his very last leg. If this don't work out with the Raiders, 9 times out of 10, you will not see Doug Martin on an NFL roster next year. Definitely won't see him on an NFL roster. Okay, FJ, you think y'all gonna get 10 wins? Okay, FJ, how far you think your Panthers will go in the playoffs? And also, FJ, you said Gruden don't have back-to-back losing seasons. Like I said, after he won that Super Bowl, he had a losing season. After he won that Super Bowl with Tampa Bay, John Gruden had a losing season. Tampa Bay didn't even make the playoffs the next year because like an idiot, he let all the players that helped him win that Super Bowl. He let a lot of them go. So, I'm definitely anxious to see what John Gruden's going to do in his second year, especially now that he has some talent on his team, especially with Antonio Brown. And I'm also, itching. Also, can Derek Carr bounce back to the year that he had, 3 years ago? Or will he just descend down, down a crappier hole? Okay, intelligence cycle, you say my question is Raider got leftover scrubs, Martin, Tahir Whitehead, Nevin Lawson, former bums on my Lions. Reason why we're disrespected by the media. Oh man. Yeah, the Raiders do got some bums, but just better hope AB can definitely cover all those holes, because if he can't, then he's gonna be PO'd at John Gruden. The whole Raider organization is gonna be Pittsburgh all over again with AB if he's not happy. do Raiders love to stench in mediocrity with those scrubs? No, they ain't even mediocrity. At least to be intelligent cycle or to be mediocre, you gotta at least be halfway decent. You at least either gotta be decent or even halfway decent. Some of those dudes were just horrible. Those dudes just horrible. Those dudes are mediocre. Nah, FJ, I don't think the Chiefs are gonna fall off. They got too much fire, they got too much firepower, electrifying QB and Mahomes. Also, that defense is too improved for them to fall off. And if the Chiefs do fall off somehow, some way, it's going to be because they suffered some major injuries. That's the only way the Chiefs can fall off this year. I definitely can't see the Chiefs falling off this year. FJ, do you think the Chiefs are going to fall off this year? Yep, because I definitely don't see the Chiefs falling off. I definitely can't see the Chiefs having a falling off this year. Definitely can't see that with them. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes, he's too good. Also, that offense is too good for them to fall, to have a fall. If they do have a fall, it's going to be because they had some key injuries that they could recover from. So no, can't see the Chiefs falling off. Let me get another bite of this chicken sandwich before I get into my AFC West predictions for 2019. Chicken sandwich good. I'm glad I got this tonight. Gotta savor this, y'all. Okay, now I savor. How do I feel now? I'm glad Bruce Arians, is back in coaching. I definitely think Bruce Arians kind of got slept on a little bit, especially the job he did in Arizona and the job he did in Indianapolis when Chuck Pagano was being treated for cancer a few years ago. Now, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to turn it around this year, but if they can get some more pieces, especially shore up that defense and get a better offensive line, I definitely think Tampa can make some noise next year. But not this year. I definitely think Arians will have a great chance of turning around next year with, if he can have a pretty good draft and they can have a real good offseason. I can see Bruce Arians definitely leading them to the playoffs next year. Well, all right. Here's my AFC West predictions for 2019. I think the Kansas City Chiefs will repeat as AFC West champions. Yes, we all know that they got a hell of an offense led by Patrick Mahomes, cats like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, and also got throwing Sammy Watkins. But also, that defense has improved tremendously from last year. By adding Frank Clark as well as Rashawn Breeland. I definitely think that the Chiefs are going to win the AFC West, not only because of their offense, but a very improved defense. And I think that improved defense, will be the main reason why that the Chiefs are contenders in the AFC once again this year. Next, I got the LA Chargers finishing second again. Now, they're definitely going to battle it out with the Chiefs for the AFC West. But, I think the Chargers are definitely going to have some stumbles here and there and lose some games they either shouldn't lose or they might lose some big games that they need to lose. Also, Phillip Rivers, I definitely think, he's going to continue drinking from that fountain of youth that's in his mansion and have another great season. Also, I think Melvin Gordon will finally, get the contract extension that he wants. Him and the Chargers definitely going to come to some type of agreement. Plus, that defense with Bosa, Ingram, James, that defense is too fierce, ferocious, aggressive, and they can beat you in so many ways. So, as I said earlier, if everything really comes together for the Chargers this season, I see them being a dark horse in the AFC. And if even if they are a wild card, do not be surprised if they find a way to advance deep in the playoffs. They have a pretty good chance of going deep in the playoffs. Now, who I got finishing third? I have the Oakland Raiders finishing third in the division. Now, I think Derek Carr is going to, throw more than 19 touchdowns, but it's also going to depend on health as well. Can he stay healthy? Plus, he has a hell of a weapon in Antonio Brown. But my question for them is on the offensive line in the deep. Well, and also, they have a nice defense. They added some players like, Vontaze Burfict, who can definitely, get pressure on the QB, sack him, also force turnovers. When his head is on straight, Vontaze Burfict is a monster. As a Browns fan, I've seen that many times, playing, against playing with the Cincinnati Bengals. When his head is right, he's one of the best linebackers in the NFL. So, if he can keep his head right and not get in no trouble in Oakland, I expect a pretty good year from Burfict. But my question is that offensive line. Can they protect Carr? Can they give them enough time to see the field, find Antonio Brown? Also, can they get the running back some big holes to run through? And now last, I have the Denver Broncos finishing fourth in the division because, I about Joe Flacco. Will we see that Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, or will we see the garbage Joe Flacco that we've been seeing in Baltimore the last 4 or 5 years? Also, the Broncos don't have any offensive weapons. Who's their number one receiver? The only offensive weapon they have as a threat is Philip Lindsay. And, every team that they face this season is going to put 8 in the box and dare Lindsay to beat them because they know they don't really have to worry about Emmanuel Sanders, beating them and burning them for big plays. They could just sit back and just watch Flacco basically, destroy himself. That's just my opinion. But the Broncos, they still got that tough defense with cats like Von Miller and Derek Wolfe. Definitely still got to count for those two on the field if you're any offense. So that's my take on the AFC West. Matter of fact, I see somebody still here. What's your take on the AFC West for 2019? Also, I forgot to mention this at the beginning. You can also donate to my channel via Cash App or PayPal. There's my Cash App cash tag. And I'm about to give you my PayPal link. Your donations will help me continue with this channel. Help me continue to create more quality content for y'all. I enjoy creating this content. I love talking sports with y'all. Also grubbing on some food, showcasing some restaurants as well as different foods. But also I want to grow this channel by doing other things. I definitely want to get out on the road, going to other sporting events, other games, going to different arenas and stadiums across the country and sharing them with y'all. Plus, I want to showcase restaurants and other foods from other cities, as well as here in the Cleveland area. So, if you can, and if you want to, please donate to my channel. Whatever you can donate, I would greatly appreciate it. As I appreciated the other donations that I've received in the past. For those who have donated to me in the past, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Excuse me. Also to all my subscribers, thank y'all for supporting me. Y'all been with me through everything. If you're a new subscriber, excuse me. I appreciate y'all too for just, giving me a chance and subscribing me on the first video that you saw from me. I really do. I definitely appreciate my subscribers. I appreciate everybody who comes here on the live streams, coming here talking with me, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, or whether I agree with you or disagree with you. I appreciate it. I love having these, I love doing these live streams because I get to connect with y'all instantly, and get to talk and get to, chat with y'all, have our debates, have our takes on, different sports, whether it's the games or whether we're just doing a preview just like this right now. Okay, FJ, what team I think is going to be worse this year? Got a few. I think the Giants is definitely going to be worse this year. Definitely think the Broncos are going to be worse this year because their lack of offense. Who else do I think is going to be worse? Buffalo. So I just don't have worse team. I have worse teams. Those are the only few I have for now. But I gotta get out of here, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all come back tomorrow for my final live stream of the NFL divisions. I'm breaking down the NFC West. That will be at 8:30. Come and join me here in the chat. I want to hear y'all. I want to see y'all takes on the NFC West. Who y'all think is gonna, represent the NFC West? Who you think some of the wild card teams will be? I can't wait to come back on here tomorrow to discuss that with y'all and give my preview of the NFC West. So make sure y'all join me tomorrow at 8:30. Till then, y'all have a good one. Love y'all to life. QC out. And also, when you watch this playback, leave your comments in the comment section. Like the video, share the video. And if it's your first time, subscribe to the channel. When you do, click on the bell icon and make sure you don't miss any new videos or upcoming live streams from me. So, QC out. I'll see y'all tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And if you're watching across the world, enjoy the rest of your day.